It feels like we're talking about Hasan Piker all the time, because he's one of the top streamers on Twitch, the second largest political streamer on Twitch after Asmongold, actually. But Hasan is actually very extreme, and I've talked about it over many videos. I think Hasan is a dangerous extremist, that's my opinion, but a lot of people agree with me. In fact, recently we had the mayoral candidates for New York City have to disavow Hasan Piker because of some of the comments that Hasan has made in the past. I'm not kidding about that. Zohran Mamdani had to publicly disavow Hasan Piker on national news. So let's give this a watch, just so you can see exactly what I'm saying, right after you hit that like button. Seriously, it really helps.
And I find the comments that Hasan made on 9/11 to be objectionable and reprehensible. And I also think that part of the reason why Democrats are in the situation that we are in, of being a permanent minority in this country, is we are looking only to speak to journalists.
You see, Hasan tries to play that off as if it's funny and that he's not hurt by this, but the fact of the matter is that somebody like Zohran Mamdani completely disavowing him and his comments in the past is devastating for Hasan, who sees himself as an actual political change maker, right? He thinks that he is in charge of what the youth of America think about the American left. And I think, you know, he has a pretty big ego about it, so I'm sure these words did sting, but the fact of the matter is, even Zohran Mamdani had to completely disavow Hasan Piker because of some of the things he said. Now, if you don't know who Zohran Mamdani is, you're living under a rock, because this guy's running for New York City mayor. However, interestingly, he is a socialist. He's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. He's running for mayor as a Democrat, and he is pretty controversial because he has extreme socialist policies, and basically he wants to turn New York City into Soviet Russia. And honestly, his love for socialism probably isn't the most extreme thing about him. In general though, Democrats are supporting Mamdani, which is crazy to me because I don't think that anybody should support somebody who's actually a socialist, and it just shows how far left the Democrats are pushing themselves, right? For some reason, they're all trying to court the super far left voter. In a lot of cases, you would assume that that would be Hasan's audience, right? Hasan is extremely far left, and his audience leans super far left, like so left they're almost on the right. It seems to me that Hasan has gone so far to the left that he's almost authoritarian about it. Again, that's just my opinion. That being said, if not even Zohran Mamdani will support Hasan in his comments in the past, you know that Hasan's got an issue, because Zohran is extreme, right? He's super far left, and Hasan's too extreme for him. Now, what exactly did Hasan say about 9/11 that Zohran Mamdani was referencing in this clip? Well, it turns out that Hasan Piker said that America deserved it. That's right, let's listen to this clip. You'll note he starts off by going on a tirade against somebody else. We'll get into that right after you watch this video.
Has the understanding of foreign policy of like a 12-year-old. What the is wrong with this dude? Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because some mujahideen, a brave soldier, his eye hole with their... Isn't that how he lost his fucking dumbass eye? Because he got a eye hole? America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
That's right. Not only did Hasan say that America deserves 9/11, he also said despicable things about U.S. Congressman Dan Crenshaw. Crenshaw is a Republican representing Texas's 2nd District in the United States House of Representatives. He's been there since 2019. And so you'll notice something very distinctive about Dan Crenshaw. He's missing an eye. Now, Crenshaw lost his eye while fighting for our country overseas in Afghanistan. And so when Hasan says that some brave soldier took out his eye, that's insane. He's supporting the people who attacked American soldiers overseas, right? Love or hate Dan Crenshaw. Personally, I don't like a lot of his positions, and I don't lean left. I disagree with Dan Crenshaw. I think he's kind of a rhino. I think he's not supporting Trump enough. That being said, to attack him because he lost an eye for the country, to say that it was a good thing that that happened, that's super extreme, and I don't think that that gets called out as much because people focus on him saying that America deserved what happened on 9/11. The Dan Crenshaw thing is definitely worse in my opinion because he's attacking not just a member of Congress, but a veteran, somebody who actually lost an eye for our country. Whether or not you think Hasan likes this country, he lives in it, right? This guy, Dan Crenshaw, lost an eye fighting for Hasan's rights, and Hasan has the gall to go on and say all this stuff about how Dan Crenshaw lost his eye and how the soldier who did it to him was brave. In reality, Dan Crenshaw lost his eye in an IED explosion, so Hasan didn't even get that right? There was no soldier who did this to him. It was a roadside explosive that had been left out, which was a trap that so many American soldiers ended up losing their lives to over the course of the Afghanistan war. The Afghanistan war, which by the way, I'll point out, we gave up on for no reason under Biden. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no supporter of the Afghanistan war, but I will say that if we're going to stay in there for that long, we might as well have just annexed it. But despite the fact that Zohran Mamdani has completely disavowed Hasan Piker, Hasan is still supporting Zohran. That's right, Hasan was just seen at a Mamdani rally in Queens, New York. That's right, there he is right there, taking pictures with a fan. So it seems like Hasan still supports Mamdani, even if Mamdani doesn't support Hasan, which is kind of weird to me. You would think that if you're told by a socialist that you're too extreme for him, you wouldn't support him. I mean, that's pretty much what Hasan did during the election, right? Hasan actually, during the election, told his voters not to vote for Kamala Harris because she wasn't far left enough. I don't think that moved any needles in the election, to be honest with you. I don't think Hasan has that much influence, though he might think he does. It is definitely kind of a controversial take from Hasan to tell Democrats not to vote for Kamala, but I'm happy he did, personally. I don't think anybody wanted Kamala in the White House. That being said, the Democrat Party does not like Hasan. He spends so much time trying to get them to like him. If you go onto the New York Times, there's puff pieces about Hasan. I don't know if he paid to have them written. I don't know if they came up to him. Maybe some reporter's a massive fan of him, but constantly over the last couple of years, there's been these articles put up that are essentially puff pieces trying to make Hasan into the left's Joe Rogan. Now, unfortunately, that denies the reality that Joe Rogan is in and of himself the left's Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan is not a right-wing guy. He's like a Barack Obama Democrat. But for some reason, they think that Hasan Abi here, who's literally just a Twitch streamer with 3 million followers, nowhere near as many followers as Joe Rogan, they think that this guy, who goes off on unhinged rants about American soldiers and also horrific national events, they think that this guy is going to be the left's Joe Rogan. No, he's more like the left's Alex Jones. Let's be honest here. The kind of stuff he's saying is literally the inverse of what Alex Jones says. And I know he would absolutely hate to hear that, but it's true. The guy is crazy in my opinion. I don't understand how he has such a big platform. And quite frankly, I'm glad to see that he's finally facing a little bit of pushback, not just from Zohran Mamdani and the rest of the Democrats, but also from his community after he did a little bit of an incident allegedly shocking his dog. Now, of course, nobody could ever prove that he cast a 4th level Thunderbolt spell on his dog, but the evidence does not look good for Hasan, and he's constantly lied about that as a result. And I think that Hasan changing his story like 5 or 6 times, right? At first, the dog caught its dew claw on the bed and it yelped in pain from that. On the second time, Hasan said, oh, it was actually a vibration collar. I have a vibration collar for the dog. And then eventually we got to the point where the dog wasn't even wearing a collar, according to Hasan, despite the fact that the video, you can clearly see that the dog is wearing some kind of electronic collar. Like, he just lied so many times about the collar gate thing. I think it shows a lot about his character, right? I think it shows a lot about him. I think that his ego is so big he can't admit that he's wrong. So I think that Zohran calling him out and saying that he disavows him was probably a huge hit to Hasan's ego. And he realizes that he can never be the future of the Democrat Party, but I don't think that's going to stop him from trying. Hasan is emblematic of an issue that the left has where they've gone so far left that nobody can really relate to them anymore. Personally, that's great for me because I'm not a left-wing person, but for the left, that's a big issue, right? The Democrats are screwed because they keep pushing away all of the regular people in exchange for people like Hasan and people like Zohran. Where does that put everybody else? I mean, think about it. Now they've got Zohran running for the mayor of New York City and Hasan being the Joe Rogan of the left, but some of Barack Obama's policies were to the right of Donald Trump's policies. Donald Trump was the first president to take office in his first term supporting gay marriage. Barack Obama during his first term didn't. He might have privately, but publicly he did not. So it's just crazy to me how far left the left has shifted and how people like Hasan have somehow gotten up there with the rest of them, but I'm glad to see them trying to throw out Hasan and not associate with them anymore. I think that that's probably a good thing for the Democrat Party. Now they just need to do the same thing with people like Zohran. They need to disassociate from him, but they can't because the loudest people in the party, the people who scream and yell and cause problems, they're the type of people that Hasan has in his audience, right? They're people like Hasan. So I don't know, the left has a problem, and a lot of that problem stems from people like Hasan, if not just himself. And I think the only way to fix it is to disassociate from him. But I hope they don't, because the more they prop up people like Hasan and people like Zohran, the better off it is for the right. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that the left disavowing Hasan will continue? Do you think that he's going to lose it if they completely shun him? And do you think that they should do the same thing to Zohran? Do you think that them shunning Hasan is indicative that they might start shunning people like Zohran in the future? Let me know in the comments. Do you think the Democrat Party is completely lost to the far left? Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Remember to like and subscribe. I know this one was a little bit controversial, right? I don't usually go super in-depth into politics, but I'm just trying something new. If you like it, let me know in the comments. If you don't like it, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and God bless you.